The age of the dinosaur is upon us again. Ark Survival Evolved has tapped into the ever-popular survival game genre to deliver a one-of-a-kind experience that has players shooting, taming, and scavenging for their lives. With a history as vast as the game itself, it's time to look back at all the changes Ark has seen throughout the years. Hi, I'm Jacob with the Leaderboard, and this is 7 facts about Ark Survival Evolved. We're going to be looking into the story behind the development of the game, detailing the many creatures that inhabit the world of Ark, and teaching you how to tame those dangerous dinos. Here we go. So to get us started, let's talk about what Ark Survival Evolved is for those of you who don't already know. Ark Survival Evolved is a, get ready for this is gonna blow your mind, an early access multiplayer open world survival game with crafting mechanics, but it also has dinosaurs and sci-fi elements. It's a lot. Players start by being dropped into the game space, fittingly named the Ark, with nothing but their wits and a will to survive. You must scramble to gather essential resources, ascending as high as you can through the game's many tiers of play. Players can also level up and do so by building objects, setting up a base, attacking, feeding, and even taming dinosaurs. Leveling up will also provide you with new components to deck out your base even further. These include windows, doors, and other housing essentials. As you rise through the ranks, you can unlock more recipes for crafting, which the game calls engrams. These engrams become more and more complex as you continue to grow stronger, but they'll start requiring rare resources in higher quantities. New subsystems start to unlock as the world opens up to you, including what might be the game's top selling point, the ability to tame and train the various dinosaurs in the world. Now remember, if that's not enough spice for you, all of this can be happening on a server shared by other players, up to 100 players at the time of its launch, and the game is early access no more, as its live release was August 29th, 2017. Development on Ark Survival Evolved started in October of 2014 with Seattle-based developer Studio Wildcard and Egypt-based developer Instinct Games. On June 2nd, 2015, it was released for PC through Steam's Early Access program, with an identical release for Mac OS X and Linux platforms a month later on July 1st. In just that short month, however, Ark Survival Evolved had become the most popular survival game in Steam's Early Access program. Following that, updates arrived often, sometimes daily during development. The updates added new dinosaurs, resources, building structures, you name it. All this was building to the game's release, which was originally intended to be in June of 2016, which, as you probably already know, didn't happen. However, they did release a separate standalone game called Ark Survival of the Fittest. Originally designed as a spin-off with esports ambitions, Survival of the Fittest was eventually folded back into the main game to ensure that players wouldn't have to pay for it separately. This was also done to support the already growing community of modders for the base game. A little later in the year, on September 1st, the first paid DLC was released for Ark, called Scorched Earth. The expansion added a desert-themed map with matching resources and creatures to go along with it, including some more fantastical additions like wyverns. Some thought it was a strange thing to do, releasing paid DLC for a game that hadn't actually been released yet at the time. In fact, the full game would come out almost exactly 1 year later on August 29th for Windows, PS4, and Xbox One. So let's go back to that survival of the fittest mode for a second. With a focus on crafting, resource management, and open world survival, Ark's main gameplay can feel reminiscent of Minecraft. Survival of the Fittest, however, is a mode that takes all the core components of the main game and turns it into a Hunger Games style last man standing competition. Up to 72 players duke it out, trying to take out or simply outlive all of their competitors. The mode started out as a community mod that quickly became popular, and the Ark team decided to dedicate resources to make it a full-fledged mode in the core game. Not only that, but they've built it with esports in mind, working to tweak and adjust the balance so that you could conceivably run large events and tournaments using Survival of the Fittest mode. To help with this match-based idea, a lot of the balancing that was implemented had to do with game speed, trying to get an entire Ark experience down to matches that last anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours. Dinosaur taming is quicker, resource gathering is quicker, and overall the mode packs a tighter punch. To mix things up during a match, the game spawns hotly contested super creatures like dragons or yetis, as well as evolution events that boost the skills of players, sorta like a rush mode. With Survival of the Fittest comes additional features that deepen the multiplayer experience. These features include spectator tools, custom tribe flags allowing players to take more ownership of their teams, and matchmaking. Studio Wildcard had been pitching the esports side of it as a multiplayer online survival arena, and they themselves host several tournaments as part of a survival league, passing out prize money and featuring top players on the website survivetheark.com. Billed as a survival game in the world of dinosaurs, the roster of creatures in Ark Survival Evolved has certainly expanded over its early access cycle. Creatures are divided into 3 basic groups: land, sea, and flying creatures. Beyond that, pretty much anything goes. The game launched with mostly accurate depictions of dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals like the dodo and megalodon. Now, as far as the dinosaurs themselves go, they run the gamut from mostly true-to-life feathered dinosaurs such as the therizinosaur, all the way to styled and sensational Jurassic Park-styled behemoths like the daunting Allosaurus. Before development began, the Ark team had intended to stay as true to life to these prehistoric creatures as they could, but things wouldn't remain that way for long. Soon enough, Ark's creature roster saw additions of a more fantastical nature, ranging from mundane creatures like dire wolves or giant scorpions, all the way to mythical creatures like dragons, manticores, and death worms. Some of these were included as boss monsters to the base game, and others were added into the DLC packs Scorched Earth and Ragnarok. Currently, the game has over 100 creatures roaming the deadly island. One of the biggest draws to Ark isn't just that the game world is populated by 100 plus dinosaurs and monsters, but that you can bend them to your will, taming them to perform all sorts of different tasks for you, the noble survivor. The taming system is relatively complex too, and players will have to do their research if they want to successfully tame as many dinosaurs as they can. For starters, the most basic way of taming dinosaurs requires knocking them unconscious. This can be done by either fighting the dinosaur, or for a more tactile approach, you can use your tranquilizer arrows or a narcotic such as a scorpion's tail. Once down, you have to feed the unconscious dinosaur a type of food that they like. I personally don't think that's quite how I would tame a murderous dinosaur I came across in a desperate survival situation, but I know nothing about dinosaurs and it seems to work for Ark, so what do I know? Feed them enough of what they want to eat and they'll be domesticated and willing to work with you. Domesticated dinosaurs can perform all sorts of tasks and have a surprising amount of customizability. Players can set their aggression levels, have the dinosaurs stay in place and defend an area, follow players around, or even group up to form packs of creatures. You can even ride many of the dinosaurs, providing quick and easy transportation around the Ark. Many of them even have special saddles equipped that can be outfitted with things like gun turrets. Speaking of, throughout your adventure in Ark, your character will need all kinds of items and resources to ensure survival. Starting with simply your fists, you'll have to begin your journey by punching trees and picking up small rocks on the side of the beach to start building your survival essentials, which are basically just primitive tools like spears, rock axes, simple wooden walls, and more. As you level up, the engrams you can learn will become more and more useful and resource heavy, and you'll be able to move beyond your primitive starting tools. As your tools improve, you can use them to collect new resources, travel to new places, and use them to upgrade what's available to you even further. You can rise through the tiers from barely caveman tools to smithing items like in the Middle Ages, all the way up to using a fabricator to make science fiction items and weapons. A T-Rex suddenly seems so much less threatening when you're packing a rocket launcher after all. The resources required to build a lot of these items are scattered in some out-of-the-way places, from high up on mountaintops to in caves at the bottom of the ocean. Players can also get a little boost by seeking out and collecting beacons that fall throughout the world. Visible through beams of light stretching to the sky, they can drop anything from scraps of wood to fully loaded rocket launchers. The color of the beacon shows you the level required to access its contents, so before you track to find the beam of light, make sure it'll open for you. Another warning, if you're going to be playing online, other players can see the beacons too, so be prepared if you want to go for it. You're either going to need to get there first or fight for it. With a game that's seen such rapid success on such a large scale, it makes sense that a vibrant and large community has formed around Ark Survival Evolved. Developers at Wildcard are deeply and actively getting involved with their community, trying to interact with them on a level that AAA studios might not be able to. This outreach has garnered a wide breadth of reactions for their efforts. The modding community in particular has really come into its own with Ark Survival Evolved, with new mods covering everything from a couple new items to entire new game modes and maps. I mean, keep in mind, even Survival of the Fittest started out as a mod. Wildcard has even run mod contests, with one such contest having a prize pool of over $60,000. The community of Ark is also very vocal with Wildcard about most of their updates, with reactions covering a wide spectrum. Some fans respond with vitriolic outrage, particularly when prices change or when DLC was added pre-release. Others wail with joy at the advent of new modes and monsters, hailing Wildcard as the mightiest and most benevolent of all video game developers. There are scores of community-sourced tutorial series, streamers, and multiple wikis that detail every dinosaur, how to tame them, as well as every item and how to make it. It'll certainly be interesting to see how the community grows as more players dive deep into Ark with the official release. And there you have it. Once again, I'm Jacob, and thanks for watching 7 Facts about Ark Survival Evolved. Did you play it in early access? Will you play the full release? Did we miss anything? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to click the bell icon to become part of our notification squad, and if you like getting more from your games, subscribe to the Leaderboard, your home for video game facts.